Matt Regan.
Thanks, Fiona. My name's Matt Regan. I'm Director of Government Relations for the Bay Area Council. We're a business-sponsored public policy and advocacy organization. We represent the major employers in the 9 Bay Area counties, and we're not a chamber of commerce. We don't work on taxation and business regulation issues. We bring a business voice to the larger policy issues of the day: education, healthcare reform, water, energy, climate change, those sorts of things. And I run our government relations program, and a little over, about 18 months ago, I took a delegation of our members to Sacramento to talk about education, healthcare reform, water, all of the major issues of the day. And we went in August because the budget's supposed to be done in May, and we expected to have a fruitful, in-depth policy discussion about the major issues that California faces. We booked a room in the Capitol, and we brought the leadership in to come talk to us. And one after the other, they came in and they blamed the last speaker who just exited the room for the budget crisis, because the budget, of course, had not been signed. And it was a particularly embarrassing day for myself, being the person in charge of promoting and promulgating our policies in Sacramento, and bringing all of these sort of CEOs to Sacramento to listen to the leadership of both sides yell at each other. And so as we left the building, we thought, we need to do something. This cannot keep going on. I could list the crisis situations that this state currently faces, one after the other, from our prison population. The prisons are overflowing. Our schools are underfunded. We're now 47th in the nation after being first just 30 years ago. We're a knowledge-based economy, and if we think we can survive being 47th in the nation in public education, we're delusional. We have a water system that the legislature and the governor are still fighting over, that's on the brink of collapse. A moderate-sized earthquake in the Delta region would render 50% of California uninhabitable. And it's been that way for 30 years, and we haven't been able to reach a solution. And I could go on. And there doesn't appear to be the capability in the building in Sacramento to reach consensus and to get us the types of reforms that we need to function as a state. So we looked at what the problem was and what the problem could be, and we thought, it's not the folks that we're sending to Sacramento. We're sending good people up there to be our representatives. It must be the system. And we looked at what unifying factor within the system is leading to this dysfunction. And as Assemblywoman Mara mentioned, it's our Constitution. After India and Alabama, it's the 3rd longest in the world. And Alabama is currently having a constitutional convention as we speak. So pretty soon it'll be India, then us. We call it the Winchester Mystery House of Constitutions. There are conflicting measures in there that boggle the mind. Constitutional scholars hold it up across the world as an example of what a constitution should not be. And as we are the 10th largest economy in the world, we cannot function and expect to prosper and continue to grow having this huge weight around our necks. So we decided that, we looked into the idea first of how do we fix this? And there are 3 potential avenues to fix our Constitution. First is the physician heal thyself method, an inside the building fix, bipartisan, 2/3 vote to have a Constitution Revision Commission, and have the results of that commission go to the voters. I don't think anybody in the room thinks that's a realistic proposition given the partisan divide in Sacramento right now. The second is through the initiative process that California Forward are working on, and the third is through a constitutional convention. We think a constitutional convention is perhaps the best way to do it. There are, for a number of reasons, and we'll get into those as the conversation progresses tonight. But so we thought a constitutional convention might be the solution to our problems. We haven't had one since 1879, so we understand and realize it's a bit of a lift. But our CEO, Jim Wunderman, wrote an op-ed for the Chronicle when we got back to San Francisco after a visit. And he writes a lot of op-eds, and his mom reads them and gives him a call, read the op-ed, Jim, I loved it. And that's about the sum total of our reaction. The reaction to this one particular op-ed was overwhelming. We received hundreds of phone calls. What do we do to help? How can we sign up? What have we got to do to get this thing going? And we sort of realized, we've sort of unleash this beast. How do we make this happen? We're not a government reform organization. We're a policy advocacy organization. So we've had to, over the last 18 months, build an organization to promote this idea of a constitutional convention, and we've had a lot of friends. The Courage Campaign were one of the very first people to call us. It's been an unusual coalition and collaboration, a progressive online organization and a stiff, crusty business organization, holding hands and moving this idea forward. But if we can't do this, if these disparate groups in California can't agree on a process, then I guess we would all have to agree that we're doomed. That we can't, if we can't agree on a process, then we're never going to agree on the types of reforms that we actually need. And I think we all agree that on the basis of the types of reforms that are needed, our budget system's broken. The fiscal relationship between the state and local government is completely broken, and there are a number of other things that we all are in broad agreement that are broken and need fixing. So a constitutional convention, we believe, is the way to do it. And there are a number of questions that need to be asked in relation to that, and again, I'll lay them out, but won't go into them in detail. What does a constitutional convention get to discuss? And we propose a limited constitutional convention that's limited just to issues of governance. Social issues, prayer in schools, marriage, guns, off the table, just issues of governance. Who gets to sit in a constitutional convention, who the delegates are going to be, we'll have that discussion. And what's the process to get us to a constitutional convention? And I'll give you a quick timeline on how that works. Currently, only the legislature, by a 2/3 vote, could call for a constitutional convention. We're proposing Proposition 1A that would amend the Constitution to allow the people ourselves to call for a constitutional convention, and then Proposition 1B, which would go on the same ballot in the fall of next year, which would actually call for the convention, describe the parameters and the delegate selection process. So that's our chosen method for reform. We think it's got the greatest chance of success, and it will give us perhaps a better conversation about the problems and the issues that we need to address. Thank you.